Picture the scene. Your parents have dedicated your entire upbringing to your motorsport career. Tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of dollars spent, and then the chance is finally there. Formula One is calling your name. Your name is Liam Lawson, and you're about to make that big dream come true. You are a full-time Formula One driver for the first time, and with none other than Red Bull. But you immediately get a few assignments that seem to be a bit difficult to understand on paper. Liam Lawson is a Red Bull driver. After 11 substitute appearances in the past 2 years with the sister team, he will be a full-time F1 driver for the first time in 2025. He will have the opportunity to flourish alongside none other than four-time world champion Max Verstappen. Although, does he really get that? It seems to be a fair question. Working towards his debut for Red Bull, the New Zealander has been given several assignments by the team. Assignments that arise from what previous teammates of Verstappen have shown and have achieved, but especially assignments that arise from what previous teammates have not shown or not achieved. Sergio Perez is of course the example of the latter scenario, although you have to add to that statement that none of Verstappen's past teammates really thrived. Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon were weighed down by the pressure to a greater or lesser extent of being alongside Verstappen. Perez lasted longer in his role, but could not prevent himself from suffering the same fate. None of the three drivers managed to do what Red Bull expected of them, at least not on a consistent basis. And that is really what people do want from Lawson, despite his limited experience in the pinnacle of motorsport. Of course, no one at Red Bull will point to him as someone who will show Max Verstappen how it's done. But advisor Helmut Marko has formulated perhaps the most concrete goals for Lawson in the form of lap time that Lawson can concede to Verstappen. Marko told Sport.de he has to stay within 0.3 of Max in both qualifying and racing. That should be enough to accumulate points for the Constructors' Championship. Incidentally, Lawson has been urged against having any illusions of beating Verstappen, something Marko has added. It's a slogan that many Red Bull employees have sounded, but it's Marko who's taken the lead. Liam will have to accept that Verstappen is the best, Marko added. We'll see how close he can get, but he shouldn't get in the car with the aim of beating Verstappen. That went wrong with all of his teammates. Last but not least, Lawson has been told that he doesn't have to deal with the technical side of things, with things like setups and strategies jumping into mind. In other words, drive fast, stay close to Verstappen and keep your cool. He will have to do this with a car completely tailor-made for Verstappen. The RB21 will meet the wishes, and perhaps also requirements, of the Dutchman, and simply put, Lawson will have to deal with that. Marko told Speed Week, since we have the fastest and best driver in the field in Max, it is also clear that we have to take his preferences into account during development when it comes to the handling of the car. All this may put Lawson in a somewhat uncomfortable position. He is supposed to keep up with Verstappen's pace, but he should not try to be faster. That makes the window in which he's allowed to operate very, very small. Not too slow, but not too fast. Admittedly, it is already quite an achievement if he manages to concede only 0.3. But then, a driver is a fighter, particularly for a driver like Lawson, who has done the hard work to get his chance. As a driver, if you see the opportunity to go for something, you usually don't miss it. If Lawson sees a chance to keep up with Verstappen, he will try to match, or perhaps even surpass the Dutchman. How often does a rookie, because that's how he should still be seen, get the chance to drive for a top 4 team? Looking at how the other Red Bull protégés went, it's also a bit of now or never. Former Red Bull driver Daniel Kvyat thinks there may be a bit more for Lawson this year, indicating that the lack of experience and expectations can be a blessing for the newcomer. Kvyat exclusively told Racing News 365, you can go in with a completely blank mindset, and if you only concede 2 or 3 tenths, then that's already very good. Just look at Perez, who visibly struggled to do the same. He has to take a bite out of his deficit all the time, and maybe, just maybe, Max will start to experience some pressure. Of course, time will tell if and how Lawson can contribute to team success in a way that was no longer achievable for Sergio Perez. It is clear that he does not fill an easy seat. It would be unwise to ignore that, but nothing is impossible. So far, Lawson gives the impression of being a cool, calm and collected character who can put things into perspective, perhaps not a luxury next to someone like Max Verstappen. How long do you think Liam Lawson will last next to the 4-time world champion, and the pressure that comes with racing for a team likely set to be fighting for the Constructors' title? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back very soon with a new video. See you later.